Hello everyone, we be live. We're doing another review video of a popular Muslim YouTube channel, Smile to Jannah. And let me know if the audio is good so we could get started. Here is the video that we are going to be reviewing. It's called She Lied About Muslims and Got Caught. So again, this is another video by the channel Smile to Jannah that we're going to be reviewing today. How's my audio? Soha is reminding everybody to like and subscribe and share and comment and all of that. Soha is also telling me that the audio is great. Soha is also letting everybody know that you could become a patron and support this channel if you like to. Yeah, thank you, Soha. Yeah. Oh, Watcher is saying, hi, wish I could have been there for the Sweden stream yesterday. Well, you could hit the bell notification so YouTube tells you when we're going live. I'm glad you're here today. Oh, D is here. Great. D is always good to have. D and Soha are always good to have here because their commentary is great. Anyways, let's get started. Should we just get started? Yeah. So my name is Armin Navabi. This is the Secular Jihadists. Let's get started. Oh, I did do that. Somebody, watcher is saying I did do that. Okay, good. Good job. Everybody hit the bell notification. In fact, you're not allowed to watch this video any longer if you haven't liked the video and subscribed and have not yet hit the bell notification. It's not allowed. It's haram if you continue watching the video without liking the video, okay? It's not that too much to ask. It supports the channel. It helps us grow, and it doesn't cost you anything, all right? So, anyways, let's get started.
Assalamu alaikum, guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Grooming gangs. Yeah, if you're in the da'wah or you've been giving da'wah or talking about Islam with non-Muslims, this term typically tends to come up because the right wing, the far right, have hijacked this term and linked it to Asians and then linked it further to Islam. Yeah, you've got certain people. I don't want to dignify them by mentioning their names, but again, they're trying to make it seem like it's
He's talking about Tommy Robinson.
It's a Muslim issue, or at the very least, a race issue. However, of course, if you have been following my channel, you know, and you're equipped to deal with this nonsense, frankly. I mean, here's a Guardian article.
Honestly, I don't think whether this whole grooming gang, I mean, if you're a Muslim watching this, I have to let you know whether the grooming gang accusation is being associated with Islam or Muslims, whether that's correct or not. This channel, Smile to Jannah, is not a very good channel when it comes to giving you the best arguments on how to respond to that. I mean, we'll try to be fair here today, okay? Because I haven't looked into this that much. I've been receiving information from people saying that the grooming gangs in the UK, it's mostly an Islamic thing, mostly done by Muslims. And I've also heard people saying that's a bunch of nonsense. Okay. And what should be my position? What do you guys let me know in the comment section and in the live chat? Okay. What do you think? Somebody like me, what should be my position? Okay. I've heard people, especially I heard people saying that this is done mostly by Muslims and it's mostly related to Islam. It's fueled by Islamic ideology. And I've heard that coming from far right people, but also not so far right people, like the Qualliam Foundation that was founded by Majid Nawaz, right? Is it Qualliam? Qualliam, right? So I was like, okay, these far right people seem to be these far right gangs in the UK. I don't trust them. I heard enough nonsense from people like Tommy Robinson to know that they're not a reliable source of information. So there's that. But I was like, well, Qualliam, I don't know. Qualliam seemed to be, I mean, they had the image of being a reliable organization that is fact-based, but I didn't look into that. I don't know if they are, right? So, and I also hear a lot of Muslims saying like, no, this is like not a nonsense. This has nothing to do with Islam or Muslims. But again, I've heard that mostly from Muslims, and I can't trust that either because a lot of Muslims are tribal and they have a bias towards, that's not a very reliable source of information. So what do you think? What do you think is the correct position? without further looking into it, what do you think is the correct information? Yes, good. Somebody's saying, Adam is saying, it should be neutrality till evidence of certain results. Well, kinda, Adam. You would never get evidence of that with certain results. Okay, so you can't ever wait for certainty. Okay, you could only, the best you could achieve is justified belief. You could have a belief that seems to be justified. You're not certain about it, but evidence would lead you to believe it, that it's more likely than not. That's what you could. Certainty, not a good metric, but good enough. Like neutrality, basically the best answer is I don't know, right? Here's your answer. Guys, repeat after me. Say it until it becomes easy for you to say. Like make your tongue kind of like used to, your tongues and lips used to just repeating this. Okay, just say it. Just say it with me. It's not that hard. Okay, it's not that hard. Okay? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, see, it's not. It's actually pretty liberating once you get used to it. Once you get used to it, when you say I don't know, just say it. It's not, don't, no one's watching you. No one's watching you. Okay, no one's judging you right now. Okay, just say it. Just say it. Just how liberating it is. You don't have to have a you don't have to have a certain position. Oh, somebody's saying, Mojo is saying, I don't know. Good job, Mojo. I'm so proud of you, Mojo. See, I don't know. Good, guys. See, you're not a less of a person because you don't know something. In fact, you're stronger than people. People think it's a sign of strength if you know something. Okay, well, it's actually more of a sign of strength if you're comfortable saying that you don't know something. Okay, let's practice that together. Yeah, okay, by certain you mean specific. Okay, that not absolute. That's a great clarification, Adam. All right, let's look at what he is offering us as evidence.
And you're equipped to deal with this nonsense, frankly. I mean,
well, maybe today he will give us some good evidence. Okay, we don't know.
Here's a Guardian article admitting that a Home Office report concluded that it is not an Asian problem. They've admitted that it's a white problem. Yeah, it's majority people that are white, but
okay, that seems pretty. That seems like at least is giving us a citation for somewhere for us to go look at, right? I mean, we shouldn't judge the article just based on the title and one paragraph of it, right? So how about we look into it a little bit more? But let's see, first of all, what is the title of the article, of the Guardian article says, a new Home Office report admits grooming gangs are not a Muslim problem. And is highlighting a part of the article says, for many in Britain today, the term grooming gang immediately suggests Pakistani heritage Muslim men abusing white girls. But the Home Office researchers now tell us that research has found that group-based offenders are most commonly white. Okay, so yeah, well, I'm gonna look into this article a little bit more. The issue I would want, that's not what I want to know. Most commonly white, yeah, it's a white majority country. Yeah, actually, no, that's fair. That's fair. So there's two claims here, okay, and I will look into the research, okay, because one claim is if it's that these grooming gang are mostly Pakistanis. If the research shows that they're most commonly white, then that research would basically debunk this claim that the grooming gangs are most commonly white, right? Basically, I think that's exactly what the Quilliam Foundation claimed. We'll look into it, right? But there's another claim. It's a milder claim, okay, that suggests that it is still mostly white, but proportionally to the population of a country, Pakistanis or Muslims are responsible for a higher proportion of the grooming gangs relative to the percentage of the population. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? For example, I don't know what percentage of the population they are, but let's say if they are 5% of the population, the grooming gangs represents, let's say, for example, 30% Pakistanis, which is a higher percentage than that 5%, right? So I don't know if anybody is making that claim, but yes, if this report is correct, which I would now look into, then that claim that these grooming gangs are mostly Pakistanis and Muslims, then that would be completely debunked. Let me see what you guys are saying. Saying, bro, they said Muslim, not Asian. Well, they have been saying both. They're saying, is this happening or not in Britain? Is it a Britain problem? Yeah, it is mostly about Britain. And I think in the beginning of the video, he should have clarified, because he said, like, if you're in the Dawa scene, you would know this about grooming gangs, but not really. If you're in the Dawa scene in the United States, people don't come up to you and tell you, like, hey, what about those grooming gang thing, the grooming gang situation with the Muslims? You don't hear that as I'm assuming that you don't hear that as somebody that is involved in the Dawa scene in the US. You probably only hear that if you're involved in the Dawa scene in the UK, right? Hold on. We have somebody on Twitch. Guys, we're also on Twitch. But again, as you pointed in last stream, white people outnumber us browns, so the numbers of white will be more. Yes, that would be a fair criticism of his video, but if the claim, here's the problem, okay, Rohan. He's responding to people who are saying the grooming gangs were mostly Pakistanis or Muslims, right? So this is a fair rebuttal, right? If he was responding to the claim that they are proportionally higher, this wouldn't be a fair rebuttal. I hope that makes sense. Mojo is saying, I hate the idea of white, black, brown. I mean, you, Armin, Navabi, are Middle Eastern, and you look very much white. I mean, these are identities that we don't choose, that the society is choosing for people, and we have to deal with it. Like, it's not something that we want, but we are just responding to it, right? Yeah, it's a British problem. Anyways, let's continue. Oh, wait, no, let's not continue. Let's look at this. The Guardian article. I darkened it because it's easier for me to read it like that. Let me know if you want me to, if you prefer. Hold on, let me show you. Do you prefer it like this or like this? I prefer it like this. I'm going to go through this article really quick, just so that we are not judging it based on just a title and a paragraph, right? So the article says, this week marks a watershed moment in a decade of discussion of grooming gangs. A much anticipated Home Office report has conducted that there is no credible evidence that any one ethnic group is overrepresented in cases of child sexual exploitation. Okay, so that's a pretty significant claim, that there is no credible evidence that any one ethnic group is overrepresented in total as a whole, or overrepresented in relationship to the population of the country, to the percentage that demographic is with relationship to the overall population of the country. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Yeah. For many in Britain today, the term grooming gang immediately suggests Pakistani heritage, Muslim men abusing white girls. But the Home Office researchers now tell us that research has found that group-based offenders are most commonly white. Okay? A powerful modern racial myth has been exploded. What started as a far-right trope had migrated into mainstream, meeting little resistance along the way. That's not really fair. It did meet a lot of resistance. In 2011, The Times and its chief investigative reporter, Andrew Norfolk, claimed to have uncovered a new ethnic crime threat, shrouded until then in a supposed conspiracy of silence. Shrouded until then in a supposed conspiracy of silence. The racial stereotype gained credence when the racial stereotype gained credence when the Quilliam Foundation, a controversial counter-extremism group, claimed that 84% of grooming gang offenders were Asian. So this Quilliam Foundation is a foundation that was founded by Majid Nawaz, and I remember when this report came out, Majid Nawaz was all over the place reporting this and saying that they have unearthed the truth, right? The grooming gangs narrative fed into the agenda of the far right, but it was not only there that the issue was racialized. The Labor PM Sarah Champion, for one, wrote a now notorious article in The Sun in 2017, for which she resigned as shadow equalities minister. What the hell is that? Resigned as shadow equalities minister. What the hell is that? I don't understand this. What is, guys? What the hell is this? Like a shadow equalities minister? Okay. The 2-year study by the Home Office. Now this is now the new study. The 2-year study by the Home Office makes very clear that there are no grounds for asserting that Muslim or Pakistani heritage men are disproportionately engaged in such crimes. And disproportionately. So not only they're not the majority, they're not even disproportionately engaged in such crimes. And citing our research, it confirmed the unreliability of the Quilliam claim. I mean, what do you expect by a foundation that was started by somebody who now denies, who's an anti-vaxxer, right? I'm just that's not how you should judge things. By the way, that was a joke. That's not how you. That's an ad hominem attack, right? That's yeah. So that's not how I judge things. Wait, guys, does anybody mean shadow is the oh, okay, that's how UK politics works. Tanky is saying shadow is the opposition party. If there is an equalities ministers, they'll be a Tory, but the shadow minister is a Labour one. Oh, I get it. Why do you guys have such weird names in the UK? This seems like something that comes straight out of Harry Potter. Like Shadow's equalities minister. Seems like a dark organization with people that have like black hoods and masks and stuff. So, okay, sure. That's how you guys are weird back there. All right. The horrific, wait, where were we? Okay. The horrific and widely reported crimes committed in places such as Rochdale, Oxford, and Telford were real. Ooh, okay. The horrific and widely reported crimes committed in but racist stereotyping and demonization deflected from that, and demonization reflected from that. Is that demonization because it's with an S instead of a Z? Yeah, you guys. Yeah. So this is British, guys. This is why there's an S here instead of a Z. It might be tempting to think that, if nothing else, a decade of outrage had stimulated wider concern about child sexual exploitation. In truth, it has diverted resources and effort into wasteful paths, while opportunities to address systemic barriers to prevention and improve victim support have been missed. Is there anything more about the study, or was that it? The claims, here it is. The claims that grooming gangs were not properly investigated due to political correctness and a fear of being accused of racism are heavily undermined by decades of research highlighting the consistent over-policing of minority communities. What's more, the whole history of UK's responses to child sexual exploitation and abuse is littered with failings, as shown by the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse, Operation Yewtree, and numerous other investigations and inquiries. There were also regrettable consequences for child protection, since victims and offenders who don't fit the stereotypes can be overlooked. Is there anything else about the whole study? Okay, hold on. Let me see. Muslim. There we go. This. Yeah. It could have been worse. The report reveals that there was discord in the advisory. Yeah, I don't want to. In this sense, the exercise seems more political than scientific. The literature review that accompanied the main report was actually far more rigorous and nuanced. It clearly identifies biases in databases, definitional problems, and other limitations that mean definitive answers to most of the questions posed are simply not possible. In other words, the right data are unlikely ever to exist. It is time to call off the witch hunt. We need finally to accept what credible research has been telling us for years, that child sexual abuse is not a Muslim problem, but is endemic to virtually all communities. Look at the numbers. The sheer scale makes the ubiquity of abuse inevitable, and an estimated 1 in 13 adults in England has been sexually abused. Okay, that's not relevant to what we want to see here, the Muslim part. Yeah, the fact that so few children come forward should concern us. We know too many children have tried. Yes, we know that. The common here's the important part. The common denominator is not immigration, race, culture, or Islam. Child sexual abuse is the product of a complex interplay of patriarchy, power exploitation, opportunity, and disregard for children. Okay, but wouldn't the whole patriarchy be more seen in more conservative communities? Okay, if we really want to tackle this issue, we have to stop fixating on the lurid and false distraction of Muslim grooming gangs. We need to address the woeful underfunding of the relevant community. Okay, yep. The past decade has shown that too many people in power. Okay, so yeah, if this is true, then obviously all those claims are wrong. I do want to see a less narrativized explanation of the research, because I mean, this is good that this research is being, shown to us, and I am now more inclined to think that this whole claim that this is a Muslim or Islam problem or a Pakistani problem, I am more in the camp of that whole thing being wrong. But I would prefer to see somebody explaining to me this data without this narrativized. This lady who's writing this seemed to be like activists like us. I would prefer somebody writing about the study in a more objective way and analyzing it for us without seeming to having to have an agenda other than looking at what the data shows. But so far, yeah, this is good enough for me to, for now at least, agree that those claims are false. Again, I'm not married to this position. Again, guys, I'm not holding on to it and be like not letting go, but I am now more in the camp of, this whole Muslim grooming gangs being an Islam or Muslim thing seems to be false. Okay, but willing to change my position. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? If people are separating people in colors, no. People in school, this is separation. Okay, guys, keep the comments about with the stream. Yeah, so are you guys convinced by that Guardian article? How skeptical are you? Anyways, let's continue.
It's a white problem. Yeah, it's when it 30 people that are white, but when you paint it out to be an Asian problem, when it finally happens, for example, you can see this bit of news that a police officer was involved in grooming. But when you paint it out, oh, it's just the Asian
Wait, what?
problem. When it finally happens, for example, you can see this bit of news that a police officer was involved in grooming.
So this is an article saying, I tried to pretend it wasn't real. Victim of grooming gang alleges police officer was among abusers. Okay, this is a police officer. One police officer alleges police officer. Okay, so this is, guys, if this is about a police officer, let me read the subtitle. Liana, whose mother was disabled with mental health problems, was easy prey for a woman called Amanda Spencer, who was convicted 8 years ago of grooming young girls in Sheffield and selling them for sex. Okay, this is bad. This is horrible. But again, this is a video about trends and demographics and percentages and roots of the problem. Having a story like this is not a story about police officers. It's not about a trend within the police. This is a story about a as in one police officer. I mean, this is a problem that needs to be dealt with, but this does not show. You can't use a story and anecdotal evidence like this to come up with an understanding about general trends in a society. So this I don't know why you're throwing this in front of us. So that Guardian article that was referring to a study, that was a good piece of information. Thank you for that. This doesn't tell me much. This is a police officer. Like what? I mean, I'm sure you understand that. For example, if I was linking to a Muslim doing something terrible, you would be like, okay, Armin, that is a Muslim. Like, what are you trying to conclude from that, right? And you would understand that. So this doesn't mean anything. Let me see what you guys are saying. Somebody saying, it seems to me more like they are covering up again, as the police and political parties have already done, but it's possible. Okay, but when you say it seems to me, where are you getting that from? Like, are you just like, is it just like, do you have like spidey senses or something like that? Are you just like feeling it? Are you just like, it's something in the air? Or because it seems to me, it seems to me that you're just making stuff up. The police and political parties have already done. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is the best way to come up with conclusions. So Daniel is saying the Guardian, men bad, diversity good. This is a genetic fallacy, right? So you're looking at, instead of trying to see if there is any evidence for the claim, you're attacking the source of the information, and that's a fallacy called the genetic fallacy, right? I don't even know if that's true though. Adam saying, I don't like the term group base. It's relevant for grooming gangs, but it doesn't show if individuals of certain backgrounds are overrepresented. I don't know what you mean. It does. That's what group base is about. The Guardian is notoriously Islamophobic. Guys, look at this. This is why I'm saying you can't trust these. Somebody's saying the Guardian is like more of a left-leaning nonsense, has, more the left-leaning type of nonsense. You're saying men bad, diversity good, and somebody else is now saying that the Guardian has right-leaning nonsense, saying the Guardian is notoriously Islamophobic. So I don't know, which is it. So see, this is why you can't just trust. Hindu historian is saying Islam certainly promotes the supremacy and misogyny that creates grooming gangs. Well, yeah, Islam promotes a whole bunch of nonsense and crap, but we don't know if it was a factor here. We don't know that. Yeah, I already addressed this. You're saying, of course, whites are more in grooming gangs because they are the majority, but Asians are disproportionate relating to their population. I already addressed this at the beginning of the video, okay? Because the claim that is being responded to here is the claim that that Pakistanis and Muslims are more in grooming gangs, that they're the majority in the grooming gangs. It wasn't the original claim by right-leaning people and the Quilliam Foundation was not that the Asians or the Pakistanis or the Muslims are disproportionate relating to the population. The original claims was that they were the majority as a whole, not relative to the population, just in general. That was the claim. That was the claim by Majid Nawaz and everybody else, and Tommy Robinson and everybody else. Anyways, if I keep reading your comments, we will be here for. Okay, yes. Wow, people saying Guardian is white supremacist. I don't know which one of you guys believe. Either Guardian is like a wokeist nonsense or white supremacist. So we're all over the place with these accusations today. All right, but it doesn't matter. We should just look at where the evidence leads us, okay? And again, this evidence that we saw is kind of okay, but it was someone's opinion about the study. It would be better if somebody was explaining to us the results of the study without narrativizing it. But let's continue.
But when you paint it out, oh, it's just the Asians, it takes away from the victims that are actually suffering from this. So what I wanted to talk about is Eleanor Williams. Yeah, now Eleanor Williams came out and said that she was a victim of being trafficked and RAPED, yeah, don't want to be demonetized, yeah, by an Asian grooming gang. Yeah, this was in May 2020. Now, this caused an uproar, yeah. Somebody created a Facebook page. It had 100,000 followers. They raised money for her, which got up to about £22,000. In the area that she was called Barrow, the far right made extreme gains in that area. People on her street had purple elephants, yeah, as a symbol for her. She had merchandise like t-shirts and mugs and all these sorts of things that were being sold. The people that had bitter brown skin were receiving death threats. Alcohol was being poured on them. Doctors in surgeries were being abused.
Wait, let's read that.
Was being poured.
This is from the Guardian saying one Muslim restaurateur? Is that a word? I don't know what that is. Restaurator. I don't know what it is. Told the Guardian of. Wait, hold on. Let me learn this word. I want to learn something today. Restaurator. Let's learn something together. Wait, it's not telling me. Restaurator meaning. A restaurator. A person who owns and manages restaurants. A restaurant. Is that it? Okay. One Muslim restaurator told the Guardian of losing tens of thousands of pounds in business after being wrongly drawn into Williams' lies and being chased down the street by two thugs who racially abused him and poured alcohol on his head. Well, that's horrible.
Poured on them. Doctors in surgeries were being.
Okay. Here's the thing. Asian pharmacists, GPs, and nurses came to him expressing fear for their safety.
Being abused.
Wait, it doesn't say in surgeries.
Was being poured on them. Doctors in surgeries.
In surgeries, it doesn't say that, but okay.
Were being abused. Yeah. Some people had to move out the area. Some.
Okay, the abuse, guys, this is why you need to actually read these things. I don't know if it's the abuse became so bad that Ramazan left Barrow to live with his mother.
Had to move colleges, frankly. But it has emerged that the injuries that we saw were self-inflicted. Yes, she did it to herself using something called a claw hammer, which she bought from Tesco, mate. But what?
God damn it. Imagine somebody doing that to their
colleges,
face.
Frankly. But it has emerged.
Looking at that. Look, imagine somebody doing that with a hammer to their own face. God damn it. This person needs help. Jesus Christ.
Injuries that we saw were self-inflicted. Yes, she did it to herself using something called a claw hammer, which she bought from Tesco, mate. But what about the abuse?
Okay, she's a horrible human being, obviously, but I hope you're not about to dismiss all of those reactions, because some of the reactions that you mentioned were horrible. For example, the far right leaning people attacking Muslims, pouring alcohol on them, threatening people, abusing people. Those were unjustified, but it's not fair when you put that right next to people putting purple hearts on their windows, opening a Facebook group for her, raising money, selling merchandise to support her. Why are you putting these next to each other? The abuse of Muslims and people being concerned for the woman and try to raise money to support her. What should they have done? We're not going to, when a woman is claiming that she's abused and she requires support, we're not going to wait for evidence. We are going to look at, statistically, it's likely that she's telling the truth. And we will support her. Okay, we're not going to believe her 100%, but given that the likelihood of she lying is very low, and she is somebody who requires support, likely requiring support, we're not going to be like, okay, no, lady, you go through all this physical and mental distress all by yourself, and we will withhold support for months and maybe years until the court of law proves beyond reasonable doubt that you're telling the truth. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. That's the court of law. We as a society are going to go forward with the assumption that she's telling the truth and support her. We're not going to hold other people accountable. We're not going to assume they're guilty, okay? Because that can wait. That can wait for the court of law. Okay, when it comes to accusing people, I mean, at least holding them responsible, we could give our opinions about the accusations. But when it comes to holding them responsible, we wait for evidence. But when it comes to supporting people, both mentally, physically, and financially, we have to start right away. People are in need. Some of them are going to end up liars. But we're not going to withhold support. We shouldn't be withholding support for the majority of the claims that are true based on a small fraction of them that end up being lies. Do you know how many women and even men are going to be robbed of a lot of useful support just because we're using a few bad apples as an example for why all of them could be lying? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Are you guys with me? Yeah, so people, D is saying, people were reacting to her injuries. It is fascinating that someone would do that to themselves. Yes, that is insane, okay? But I hope Smile to Jannah here is not going to conclude that those support, because he's dismissing, he is belittling all the support that people have had for her. That was good. That shows that the community steps up and supports somebody in need. They cannot just withhold support just because it could be a lie. The parts that they shouldn't have been happening was the abuse of Muslims. But why would you put these horrible actions side by side with acts of support for a fellow human being? These things are not like each other. They don't deserve to be put side by side with each other. You say like, oh, people were putting purple heart, they were supporting her, they were financially supporting her, they were making Facebook groups for her, and they were attacking Muslims, pouring alcohol over her. Well, hold on a second. These things are not like each other. A few of these things are not like the things that you mentioned before. That's not fair.
Jesus, mate. Yeah? No, she just found random people online. Yeah, but what about that message that we saw insulting?
Wait, what? My message?
But what about the abusers, mate? Yeah? No, she just found random people online. Yeah, but what about that message that we saw insulting the fact that she's white and she's this and she's that? No, She made that up. Despite all this, the MP of the area called Simon Fell goes,
She's a victim. Oh, poor girl. She's a victim and she needs our support.
what about the other people, mate?
Well, yeah, she does. Like what should you do? That's the assumption that you should go forward with. This whole waiting for evidence thing, that could be for in the court of law. But when it comes to somebody, like if somebody like, hey, somebody attacked me, I've been attacked, I've been abused, you're not gonna like hold on, like, and like somebody, imagine somebody comes to you and they're bleeding and they're like, somebody has attacked me, please help me, sir, help me. You're not gonna be like, hold on, lady, how do I know that you have not done this to yourself? How can I be sure that all this bleeding is not self-inflicted? That doesn't make any sense. You're gonna be like, oh my god, okay, lady, let me call the cops, let me help you. Oh no, you're bleeding. Like, who's after you? Let's help you. That's what you're gonna assume. That's the most reasonable. You're insane. Is there a possibility that she has done this to herself? Of course. But would it be reasonable for you to assume that? The odds for it is low. It's justifiable and rational for you to assume that no, somebody's abusing her. Why are you making fun of that? If you you know how dangerous it is for you to make fun of that? If we go, like, statistically, that's unlikely. If you spread this idea that everybody calling out for help, everybody has abused, given that there's a chance that they're lying to you, and that's why we should like withhold judgment and be skeptical. This is radical skepticism. It's skepticism. This is not 50-50. Okay, you could be skeptical. Yeah, there's a very small chance that she's lying, but it's unlikely. And if you spread this idea that something that could be 1%, you're portraying it that it could be 50-50, that's going to make people withhold care, withhold support. That's dangerous to victims. That is dangerous to victims. Don't treat this as if this is up in the air. Anyways.
I swear there was this one guy who received like 500 death threats. There's one guy whose marriage broke.
Wait, one guy who received who? What are you talking about? Is this
Poor girl. She's a
yeah, poor girl? That's that correct assumption.
victim and she needs our support.
What about the other people, mate?
What other people?
I swear there was this one guy who received like 500.
What other guy? Hold on, I can't see what's happening here. It's blocked by the whole title of the video. Here, oh my god, what does it say? So he claimed to have been received 500 death threats. Okay, some guy. Why are you believing this guy then? Somebody else just claims that he received 500 death threats. Why are you not being skeptical here? Like, you're doing whataboutism on other people. So why can't somebody do whataboutism on you? You're saying she shouldn't have been believed, and this guy should have been believed. How do you know he's telling the truth? And let's say he is telling the truth. What does that got to do with her? Okay, so yeah, poor him. He shouldn't be receiving 500 death threats. So because he's receiving 500 death threats, we shouldn't pay attention to the woman. Why do you think this is a competition? We shouldn't pay attention to the woman who has likely been abused, ended up not being abused, but at that moment it was justified for us to be abused. We should not show her care and support because somebody else is claiming that they have received 500 threats. Is this a Muslim guy who's receiving 500 threats from far right people? Why is this? Why are you thinking that this is a competition between white people and Pakistanis? Like maybe like we should care about her and him. Maybe this is not a battle between Muslims and non-Muslims or brown people and white people. Maybe we're all just need to take care of everybody. No? Maybe how about that? Maybe if somebody says like, hey, I received 500 death threats. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, I'm going to assume, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to go with the assumption that you're telling the truth. Let's help you. Who's giving you death threats? Let's protect you. And a woman comes and tells you that, hey, I've been raped. Oh God. raped. My God. Raped. Okay. if somebody come and says that, my God, YouTube is gonna flag me. I shouldn't have said that. Okay. If somebody comes, if a woman comes and says that, why would they? Why you should also show her support. You should also show her support. I keep saying RAPE and then ed instead of just D. Yeah, this is what happens when your mind is collectivist. You have a collectivist mindset and you have a tribal mindset, and you think that everything is a competition and everybody is just has to look for after their own people rather than the other people, rather than looking at the entire human race, rather than all of us thinking like we belong to one human race and one planet, and we're all in this together to try to make everything better for everybody. Graped. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, great.
death threats. There's one guy whose marriage broke. People that were living in fear in that area. The race divide that it created.
That's
what about
bad.
that? No.
The poor girl. I mean, there was something inside her.
So this is quite
No. Who's saying no? Okay, again, this is such a straw man. Okay, people's marriages have been broken apart. That's bad. People have received death threats. That's bad. Who else?
that area. The race divide that it created broke. People that were living in fear in that area.
Yeah, that's all bad. Why are you doing whataboutism? Why are you saying like, oh, what about them? You're literally saying, what about them? You are actually saying, what about them? You're doing, this is such an obvious case of whataboutism. I don't even know if you realize that this is a fallacy.
The race divide that it created. What about that? No.
Race divide that it created, you are doing the same thing right now. The race divide that created, you're saying, what about these brown people? What about these Muslim people? Okay, yeah, we don't care if they're brown or Muslim. We care about the fact that they're being abused. That's what we care about. You're putting them against her. Like,
No. The poor girl. I mean, there was something inside her.
yeah, why is that not justified for us to be also concerned about her?
So this is quite interesting as well, because some people have the opinion anytime a woman mentions sexual abuse or something similar, you have to take what she says and that's it, mate. No, that's the other.
Wait, what? Hold on. What the hell just happened here?
The poor girl. I mean, there was something inside her.
So this is quite interesting as well, because some people have the opinion anytime a woman mentions sexual abuse or something similar, you have to take what she says and that's it, mate. No, that's the other.
Wait, no, we don't. We assume the correct position is for you to assume that there's a small chance that she's lying. It's a very small chance, guys. If you look at the statistic, women who come and claim that they're abused, the vast majority of them are telling the truth. There's always going to be a few that are lying, okay? So we know that there's a chance that she's lying, but the justified position is for you to think that is unlikely. That is unlikely. And what is the cost if you end up being proven wrong? Let's assume she's telling the truth. If you don't abuse people, don't attack Muslims, don't attack Pakistanis, okay? But just only do the justified reaction, which is showing her support and care. Okay, so there's some money that is going to be lost, okay? But given how many people who are telling the truth need that support, that money that you lost over supporting her, the time and effort that people put in supporting her, if that was wasted, it's worth the waste. Because if we withhold the support, the cost to all the women or men who are being abused, the emotional, physical, financial harm to them is going to far outweigh the money that you have lost in those few examples that you gave to people who claimed that they needed the support and didn't. Right? So it's worth losing that. It's worth like just keep raising them. If a woman tomorrow comes and says that, hey, I've been abused, okay, and you think like there's a small chance that she's telling a lie, it's fine. Support her, raise the money, support her financially, physically, emotionally, everything. If you lose all that money, if all that money and all that time and energy is wasted, It's fine. We did the right thing. We did the right thing. We did the right thing.
Extreme. Yes, on the one hand, some of their cases are not being taken seriously, but the other extreme is you're not taking any evidence on board either. And
No, the evidence shows. Okay, so here's the thing: some things need immediate reaction, and evidence for certainty requires time. So how do you handle this? Given that evidence for certainty requires time, and people who are victims of abuse need immediate support, you go, but because it's not black and white, it's not 0 or 100. Okay, you go based on probabilities. You look at stats, and you see that the vast majority of the cases, people who are claiming that they're abused, they're telling the truth. So you assume that until proven otherwise. Isn't that, guys, isn't that the best response?
this was used by many people in the far right. Again, I don't want to dignify them by mentioning their names, but very high profile figures, they lived off this sort of stuff. Yeah. And when you go on their pages, you're like,
oh damn, maybe it's our fault. Where's this happening? What's this? What's that?
but again,
Maybe it's our fault. God, even that doesn't. That's here.
profile figures, they lived off this sort of stuff. Yeah. And when you go on their pages, you're like,
oh damn, maybe it's our fault. Where's this happening? What's this? What's that?
Wait, is he talking about Muslim high-profile people?
many people in the far right. Again, I don't want to dignify them by mentioning their names, but very high profile figures, they lived off this sort of stuff. Yeah. And when you go on their pages, you're like,
oh damn,
Oh, you're like,
maybe it's our fault. Where's this happening? What's this? What's that?
but
okay. So here's the thing: even dear Muslims or Pakistanis in the UK who are watching this video, which I assume that's 0 per people. But if you happen to be watching this video, even if these claims were true, even if data came out and showed that the grooming gangs were a vast majority Muslim and Pakistani, okay, and you happen to be Muslim and or Pakistani, you cannot go ahead and say, damn, maybe it is our fault. You didn't do it. This is your mind. Come to the individualist side. You're right now, if you're thinking like, oh my God, maybe it is our fault. That is because you're on the tribal side, you're on the collectivist mindset side. Come to our side. It's so much more liberating here. You know why? Because you didn't do it. Even if it was like 99% of the grooming gangs in the UK were Muslims and Pakistani, if you happen to be Muslim and Pakistani and you have not done anything grooming gangy, you are okay. You are not responsible. You are not to be blamed because you are an individual and you should be judged separately from the actions of other people, even if they happen to be in groups that you're associated with. You didn't do it. You're not to be blamed. See how great it is here on our side? You're only responsible for the things you have done.
again, it wasn't verified. It filled in with the narrative. And you know what? It was social media that acted like judge, jury, and executioner. All in one, mate. I had to talk about this, guys, because it's these sorts of stories that get buried under the carpet. And when somebody asks us and alleges,
oh, you're Muslim, yeah? What about this and what about that?
You have to keep these examples in your brain, in your...
Okay, somebody in the live chat is saying, okay, but Pakistanis are very tribal. If you label one, they think you label all. Okay, but you did the same thing in this comment. Look, you're talking about Pakistanis as a whole, as a collective. There are many Pakistanis who are have an individualist mindset. Okay, you can say, maybe you should have said many Pakistanis. You can't just say Pakistanis. You're generalizing. That is collectivist by itself.
your mind.
Muslim, yeah? What about this and what about that?
You have to keep these examples in your brain, in your
Wait,
mind.
Wait, hold on. What did you say?
All in one, mate. I had to talk about this, guys, because it's these sorts of stories that get buried under the carpet. And when somebody asks us and alleges,
oh, you're Muslim, yeah? What about this and what about that?
You have to keep these examples in your brain, in your mind. Refer to them, bookmark them, save them, add them to your playlist. That's why, guys, you watch these videos, mashallah, you are ahead of the curve and ahead of the game. If you want to support what I'm doing, of course, I've got the Patreon in the description.
Oh yeah, guys, we have a Patreon in the description as well. If you want to support our channel, link in the description. Please support this channel on Patreon.
Allah bless you guys for supporting. If you can, of course.
If you
can't, enjoy the comment.
Yeah, if you can't support us on Patreon, like the video instead. That helps us grow the channel. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, and all of that. Okay, you don't support us financially if you're struggling financially. Only support us financially if you're very, very comfortable financially. Link to our Patreon, PayPal, and YouTube membership. All of that is in the description.
Comment, at least hit the like, drop a comment, and keep
at least hit the like, drop a comment. Yes,
supporting, guys. Let's.
Wait, hold on. Somebody is asking me a question here. It says, Armin, why do you go live randomly? Well, because it's a lot easier for me to not have to plan these things and just go live whenever I can. And that would make me go live more often. And that's why you have to hit the bell notification, because I don't have these planned. So the only way for you to know when I'm going live is to hit the bell notification, because if you hit the subscribe button, it's not going to let you know when I'm going to go live. Only hitting the bell notification will make YouTube tell you when I'm going live. So make sure you hit the bell notification, right? That's why I'm doing it. See, this is me not having a strict schedule has made me able to go live more often. Isn't that good? Anyways, I just did another video. Guys, my plan is to at some point just review every single Dawah video that is out there. Like, Smile to Jannah, as they come, not the old ones. Like as they come, like if you see a video from Smile to Jannah, Ali Dawah, Muhammad Hijab, who else? All the other ones. Daniel Agaju, if they come out, like, oh, Armin's going to review this. I know Armin's going to do at least the ones that are below 20 minutes, right? So this is the channel where all Dawah videos, all Muslim YouTube videos, the popular ones are going to be reviewed. Okay, we're going to get to a point where all of them are going to be reviewed on this channel as soon as they're dropped. So yeah, if you like that, support this channel any way you can. Anyways, I've been your host, Armin Navabi. This has been the Secular Jihadists. See you in the next video. Bye.